Strategic innovation is a very unique type of innovation. It does not involve discovering new products or new technologies. It involves discovering three other things. Number one is a new who, and by that I mean a new customer segment to go after. Second, a new what, and by that I mean a new customer benefit to add to the existing benefits of your product or service. And the third is a new how, which it basically means maybe a new distribution method, a new value chain activity, or a new business model through which you compete in the market. So strategic innovation is a discovery of a new who, what, or how. It doesn't have to be all three together. You can discover one of the three or two of the three, or if possible, all three. It's very difficult. First of all, there's the usual creativity challenge, which basically means how can I come up with new who, what, how ideas? And creativity is difficult in itself, and discovering new who, what, and hows is especially difficult. But there's a couple of other reasons why it's very, very difficult for established firms in particular. One is when it first arrives, strategic innovation is not of interest to our existing customers. Usually these innovations, when they start out, they become interesting or valued to different customers from our customers. And you see what the problem is. The problem is, even if you come up with it, you first go to your customers and say, hey guys, do you want the new innovation? And your own customers look at it and say, actually, no. It's only over time, 10, 20 years into it, that your own customers will look at it and find it attractive. But the problem is, when you first discover it, your own customers don't want it, and they will lead you in the wrong direction. If you listen to your customers, in other words, you're not going to invest in this innovation because they don't want it. That's one reason that makes it especially difficult. Another reason is that these types of innovations, they tend to be disruptive to the existing business. They may cannibalize the core business. They may undermine the existing distribution channels. They may undermine the existing culture of the organization. They tend to be disruptive. And that gives the opportunity, first of all, to managers in the existing business to undermine them, to oppose them, to resist them. But also, it gives the opportunity for, the proponents of these disruptive innovations to have to face additional resistance from the core business that don't want them to succeed. You can do market analysis to test the ideas, but again, the problem with these strategic innovations is that they tend to be very unconventional ideas, very unorthodox ideas. An example will be this wine company in Australia that decided to sell wine to people that do not drink wine. A new customer out there that drinks beer doesn't drink wine. Well, imagine if how can you test an idea like that? Sell to people who don't drink wine. If you go and do market research, these people will probably tell you, I don't drink wine, I don't want your product, So it's very difficult to evaluate this kind of innovations through market research, which means that the best and probably the only way to test them and evaluate them to see whether they're any good will be through experimentation. People need to find a way of testing these ideas in the market. I know experimentation can be costly and risky, so the important thing is to manage the experimentation to make it low cost and low risk. There are ways of doing it, and it's by far the best way of testing whether these ideas would actually be any good. The more disruptive the innovation, the higher the probability that the company needs to grow it in a separate unit adjacent to the core business. And you can see why. If it's disruptive and there are conflicts between the existing business and the disruptive innovation, the existing managers will always find ways to kill off the innovation. So you want to separate it in a separate unit, protect it from the politics of the existing organization, allow it to grow like an entrepreneurial unit without the key success factors or the measurement and incentives of the existing business. Because remember, how you measure success in the existing business is different from how you measure and evaluate success in the innovation. So it needs its own KPIs, it needs its own systems, its own processes. Separate it, allow it to grow, and once it grows and becomes strong in itself, Then decide whether you will allow it to grow as a separate unit or whether you reintegrate it into the existing business. But certainly for the first few years of these innovations, you need to protect them by keeping them in a separate unit.